Hello, Ryan Murray here from thesheetmetalkid.com, and I am here to demonstrate on how to install flex duct or flex pipe. Alright, let's say that we got our register can installed, whether it be in the ceiling, on the wall, or in the floor, and all we got to do is basically hook some flex up to it if we don't have a damper on it or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just demonstrate on how we're going to install our flex duct. The tools you're going to need, of course, is a long knife, a pair of wire cutters, Panduit gun, and a Panduit strap, and some tape. You'll see why we need the wire cutters here in a minute, because I'm going to introduce to you what not to do as a sheet metal worker. So let's say that we only need about 8 foot, but we're just going to use a small section just for the sake of demonstration. So you want typically a really long, sharp knife, and you're just going to go ahead and make as straight as a cut as possible for yourself. And you can go either way, and go ahead and just cut this all the way through. Be careful you don't cut or stab yourself. I've seen a lot of people do that, cutting flex duct. Probably more so because they're so careful with the sheet metal, but when it comes down to cutting flex, they're just kind of careless with the knife, and they'll end up cutting themselves with the knife. So if you see, I got this cut all the way through. I've got a piece of wire. A lot of people call it wire flex. This is the reason why, because there's actually a little wire in there. Never, ever, ever use your tin snips to cut that wire. Once you buy yourselves a good pair of tin snips, don't ever cut wire. Don't let electricians use your snips for any reason. Make sure whoever uses your snips, if you're investing in a good pair like a Malco pair, that you're not letting just anybody and their mom use them. They're a tool. They need to be used correctly. And what happens if you cut this wire with these snips is you'll end up with little grooves in your snips, and that's a big no-no. You don't want to do that. Okay, so you got your flex pipe cut. You no longer need your knife. What you need is your Panduit strap. And what I like to do to make it a lot easier for myself is go ahead and get this thing started. So it's just basically a big zip tie. Set it there just like that. That way I can easily, it's in reach, I can get it close to where I need it to be. And it's because when you're fighting a lot of flex on the other end and you're trying to get it to go on, it's really not a fun thing to fight with. So regardless to what I've told you in the past as far as flanges and crimp ends going in first, flex is probably the only exception. So see how it fits right over the top of that? Now I know it's not going towards the inside, it's not going with the airflow, but that's, like I said, flex is just the exception. So if you notice on these C boxes, they have little beads on them. These beads are where the metal comes out and kicks out like that. They put that in there for a reason, so that way when you slide this flex over and you Panduit strap it, it's a little bit larger so that the flex doesn't pull up. So what we're trying to accomplish here is get the flex down, on, and over that bead. It's a little bit different when you're crouching down and you're inside of an attic trying to do this, but for the sake of demonstration, I won't bring you into the attic. We'll let you have that fun yourself. So now that I got my Panduit strap started, I can just go ahead and make sure I'm in between those two beads like we talked about. Make sure my flex is all the way down, make sure my Panduit strap's wrapped all the way around, and that it's not catching this insulation anywhere around either. If it's caught on the insulation, you're gonna have a hard time getting your insulation wrapped on the second step here. So we're gonna get this good wrapped all the way around. So this is where the Panduit gun comes into play. Take this and you're just gonna slide it in just like that. This silver part should be on the outside, and this slides right over the top of it, and you're gonna hear it crimp down and clip it nice and tight. Now it's gonna take, you'll have to choke up on it and get it a couple good times, and then you'll hear that click. What's that doing is it's initiating that blade right there to cut off your Panduit strap. Now your flex is on there tight. I can literally grab it by the flex and it is on. So I'm going to untuck all of this. I tucked it in there just so that we can get to the flex pipe, and I'm going to let my insulation fly. I'm going to kind of fold this back, pull it back down to where it needs to be, and on a shorter piece it's a little bit more difficult, but you kind of get the point here. What we want is insulation wrapped around that collar. We want all of this stuff to fit nice and neat all the way around, like so. And that's where I take my Venture tape or Flex Fix tape, and this is just a real thin vinyl is what it is, and this is just to make sure that we're double dose good. A lot of guys will kind of scab things in. Will only use this tape to connect the pipe and not a Panduit strap. That's laziness. That's not done correctly. So make sure whoever's doing your install that they're using Panduit straps, that they're really fastening that flex in tight and they're wrapping tape on it. You also want to make sure when you're putting your flex pipe in that if say you are inside of an attic, you want to make sure that none of this part, and this stuff tears real easy, none of these parts of this flex are too bent. So if we were turning 90 degrees, we want to kind of get a real gradual turn. We don't want to be like this. Obviously, if you look on the inside of the duct, it's completely cramped. So gradual turn, that's the way the duct wants to sit. That'll allow the maximum amount of airflow through that duct, and that's really what you want. When you have it ran, you don't want to run too much to where it's sitting of your ceiling joist where the insulation is, because if it's sitting down there, then that's where the mice can get it and eat away. A lot of people, they'll put way too much flex in there. It'll be sagging down. It won't be strapped up to the joist, and mice will eat it in a matter of a year or two. So you want gradual turns. You want to make sure that this isn't laying down against the ceiling or the floor. And just make sure it's strapped up nice and neat. Make sure you got plenty of natural airflow, and that's it. That's how you install your flex.